you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals are welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals are welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals are welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals are welcome here.
Councillor Minnan, over to you. Councillor Minnan.
Thank you, Chair. This proposed visit by the head of the British Armed Forces should not be welcomed. The British state has been and still is involved in human rights abuses across the world, most notably in Iraq, Afghanistan and here in Ireland. The invasion of Iraq has resulted in hundreds of thousands of deaths by the British state. This invasion was carried out with one purpose in mind: to bring the country's vast oil and gas reserves under the control of private corporations. This is an illegal war and people all over the world took to the streets to show their opposition. This war is still ongoing, and for this reason alone the head of the British Armed Forces should not be welcomed to Ireland. The invasion of Afghanistan has resulted in over 1 million deaths. Britain has 10,000 troops in Afghanistan waging an illegal war. The purpose for this invasion is the same as the one in Iraq. Great. This illegal war is still ongoing, and for this reason alone the head of the British Armed Forces should not be welcomed to Ireland. In Ireland, the British state continues to claim illegal jurisdiction over 6 Irish counties. These counties are as much a part of Ireland as the other 26. Britain's occupying forces in Ireland, as we sit here tonight, include 5,000 combat troops, 9,000 paramilitary police and hundreds of MI5 operatives. All these are loyal to the British head of state and the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces. Where else in the world would a government even consider inviting the head of an occupying power on a state visit? The British state continues to commit human rights abuses across the 6 counties. Such abuses include the firing of plastic bullets at unarmed civilians, the use of 28-day detention, the stop and search of tens of thousands of people, which the European Court of Human Rights has deemed illegal, the constant surveillance of the population, and the illegal retention of fingerprinting and DNA information on innocent people, including children. The British state has never held its own forces to account for the murders they have committed in Ireland. What signal would a state visit send to the families of those people who died at the hands of the British Army and the RUC? To those who lost loved ones, to those whose family members were killed in the Ballymurphy massacre, to those parents who buried their children killed with plastic bullets, what signal would a state visit by Elizabeth Windsor send? The British state continues to block all attempts to establish the truth about collusion between the British state and Unionist death squads. Such collusion has resulted in deaths of hundreds of people in atrocities that spanned at least 4 decades. Britain refuses to reveal its role in the Dublin and Monaghan bombings and the murders of solicitors Pat Finucane and Rosemary Nelson and hundreds of other incidents of collusion. What signal would a state visit by the British head of state send to them families of collusion? It has been estimated that a visit by the British head of state would cost a minimum of €10 million. How can such a massive expenditure be justified at a time when hospital wards are being closed, class sizes are increasing and social welfare is being cut? It seems this government would rather spend the people's money on bank bailouts and royal visits than on public services. I would like to conclude on the following points and quell some of the myths of why I put in this motion and why we are protesting here tonight. We are not living in the past. Britain is still occupying our country and is still committing human rights abuses across the world. We cannot be hypocrites in here by passing a motion on human rights abuses in other countries yet ignoring the facts when it comes to our own. This motion is not anti-English. We have no issue with the English working class, many of whom are opposed to Britain's occupation in Ireland and everywhere else in the world. England is waging an illegal war in Iraq, Afghanistan and here in Ireland. All these human rights abuses and murders are carried out under the banner of For Queen and Country, and on these grounds the head of the British Armed Forces, Elizabeth Windsor, should not be welcomed to Ireland. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Minnan.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Can you hear us loud and clear?
British Royals not welcome here.
Unsurprisingly, Fine Gael, Labour and Fianna Fáil voted against the motion. So our city councillors now, in an utterly shameful act, have in effect extended a welcome to the head of the British military, to the head of the British state, to come to our city. So I don't know what people think about that, but I for one don't think it makes that big a difference really what happens in there. This is going to be decided by the people on the streets and not in their council chambers. And despite the slavish attitude of the gone-bean politicians who tip the cap to the British Royals, despite their attitude, and despite the fact that they claim to lead the people of this country, they're in for a rude awakening, because the people of this country are going to show them that they are calling this one wrong, dead wrong. And for those councillors who didn't get the message earlier, can you hear us loud and clear? Can you hear us loud and clear? Shame, 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 shame.
We submitted this motion not in the hope that there would be an awakening by the reactionary elements on Dublin City Council, but as with our motions on the political prisoners in McGabbery and on the use of plastic bullets, we aim to smash the myth that there were normal relations between Britain and Ireland. The visit by the Commander-in-Chief of the British Armed Forces was never going to be beaten in the capitalist halls of power, but it can be beaten by Republicans, Socialists and other progressives taken to the streets like we are here tonight and physically demonstrating our opposition and outrage. This establishment needs to be taught the lessons that it has failed to learn from the time of the United Irishmen to 1916 right down to today. I defy this establishment to invite the head of Ireland's oppression to our shores. We will be ready and we will be waiting. The crappies will never lie down. Bear bua, chuck your law.
Those crappies will not lie down. When all said and done, you know freedom is won by crappies who will not lie down.